July 31st. That is the day that the NBA is returning. But man, that is a long time to wait again. Now, we are fortunate enough to even get basketball back, so we really cannot complain. But in order to fill in this gap of time, my man Kurt and I decided to create All Sports Culture's Top 50 NBA Players of 2020. Now, these rankings are obviously subject to change with the upcoming postseason, but this list is based on mostly what we have seen from the players in the 2019-2020 season. But this also will take into account past accolades that they have received and previous talent level. This list would be vastly different if it were only reliant on 2020. Some players ranked in the 20s would be near the top 10, and some guys in the top 10 wouldn't even be on the list at all. Hopefully, you understand what I'm getting at there. Now, there are 3 attributes that we really emphasized when making this list. Number 1, winning. Simply put it, if you're not winning games and have a history of failure, you're just not going to rank high on this list. Number 2, efficiency. Look, scoring is great, but we value it a lot more if you are doing it at a good rate that doesn't take away from your team's performance. And number 3, defense. If you're invisible there, you will be penalized. Just plain and simple. Now, obviously, there is much more we took into account, but these are the 3 main points we looked at. We are very open to criticism here, so if you have anything you would change, please don't be afraid to share your thoughts in the comments down below. We are always down to discuss sports with you guys. I will be introducing these rankings in segments, and I will really only talk about the notable ones. Before the list begins, here are some honorable mentions that I'll put on the screen that just missed the cut. I'm not really going to go into detail on these guys, but this list was so tough to make, and sacrifices had to be made. With all that being said, I present to you All Sports Culture's Top 50 NBA Players of 2020. Kicking us off at number 50, we have Eric Bledsoe. 49, Nikola Vucevic. 48, DeMar DeRozan. 47, Draymond Green. 46, Malcolm Brogdon. 45, Victor Oladipo. 44, Zach LaVine. 43, Danilo Gallinari. 42, Jamal Murray. And 41, Tobias Harris. Draymond has consistently been one of the best defensive players in the entire league. And any other year, he would be a lot higher than this. But man, once he was put under the spotlight, he really just did not hold up at all. Victor Oladipo was fantastic before his leg injury, but ever since he has come back, he really has not been the same. We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt by still having him on the list, but if he were 100% healthy, he would easily be in the teens. Now, Zach LaVine really goes against what we value. He has no history of winning at all. His defense is just lackluster. I mean, his efficiency is solid, but in all honesty, players like Zach LaVine and D'Angelo Russell are just floor raisers. They don't really bring your team to greater heights like other guys do on this list. At number 40, we have CJ McCollum. 39, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 38, Drew Holiday. 37, Ja Morant. 36, Domantas Sabonis. 35, Kristaps Porzingis. 34, LaMarcus Aldridge. 33, Brandon Ingram. 32, Kyle Lowry. And 31, Jaylen Brown. The Paul George trade has worked out real well for both teams, and Shai is a huge factor in that. He, along with CP3, are huge reasons to why OKC is arguably better than they were last season. I loved him coming out, and I think he has a real future in this league. Ja has already contributed more to winning than the floor raisers I talked about earlier. He's the Rookie of the Year without a doubt, and has brought Memphis to a likely postseason berth in the tough West. I really wanted to put Jaylen Brown higher on this list because I believe he's been Boston's second best player this season, and he certainly fits our criteria in all regards. At number 30, we have Jaylen's teammate Kemba Walker. 29, Bam Adebayo. 28, Chris Paul. 27, Rudy Gobert. 26, Devin Booker. 25, Zion Williamson. 24, Chris Middleton. 23, Donovan Mitchell. 22, Jimmy Butler. And 21, Karl Anthony Towns. Bam Adebayo has been utterly ridiculous this year. He has been so vital to Miami during a down year from Jimmy Butler. Ever since the Whiteside trade, he is both mine and Kurt's pick for most improved player this year. And I think he will be one of the top bigs in this league in the near future. Yes, guys, we have Zion this high. This ranking we know is a little out there, but his sample size is too damn good to overlook. His efficiency is off the charts, and he has propelled the talent level of New Orleans beyond what we could have imagined. If Zion was healthy the entire year and was playing at this level the entire time, he would undoubtedly been the Rookie of the Year. And he for sure would get a lot less criticism for being this high on the list. Now, I'm sure this ranking will get probably the most criticism out of all of you. And I can understand the arguments against it. I really do. We just think Zion is the next big thing, and he has shown nothing less than he can be. Middleton being above Devin Booker is as simple as this. Chris has contributed much more to winning than Booker ever has in his entire career. His defense is much better, and his shooting splits this season are absolutely ridiculous. Middleton may be the second option to an MVP, but when Giannis is off the floor, Chris still puts up amazing statistics to keep him ahead of Booker in our eyes. Cat really just hasn't played much this season. He is a spectacular talent for sure, but man, he cannot win for the life of him. And with where it looks like the T-Wolves are headed, he won't be for a while. At number 20, we have Trae Young. 19, Bradley Beal. 18, Pascal Siakam. 17, Ben Simmons. 16, Paul George. 15, Jason Tatum. 14, Nikola Jokic. 13, Klay Thompson. 12, Kyrie Irving. And 11, Damian Lillard. It is absolutely insane how much unwarranted hate Ben Simmons gets. He does so many things exceptionally, but because he doesn't want to shoot three-pointers, everyone just rails on him. I personally believe if the right team was built around Ben and not this random mishmash of talent in Philadelphia, he would be universally viewed as a top 10 talent. But Elton Brand just hasn't done that at all for him. And he really just doesn't mesh well with the team that is around him. But the talent of that Philadelphia team still keeps them in contention. It's just a weird situation there. Paul George flat out is better than the 16th ranked player in the NBA. But he's just having a down year where he has been injured. It's the same thing for Jimmy Butler. This may be because he's now in the passenger seat to Kawhi, but regardless, Paul George is just a top basketball player. Jason Tatum is that good, guys. The Celtics finally realized that he is their guy, and they let him go have his fun. Everything Tatum brings to the table is great, and he definitely deserves this high ranking. He will be the guy for them going forward, and I think him being viewed as one of the best in the league isn't that far from reality. Why do people still sleep on Kyrie Irving? The man is definitely a target of drama, but his pure talent separates him from a lot of people. Although he really hasn't proved that he can be a true number one, he still finds success as a number one, unlike other players on this list. But he really can't get over a hump without someone else, which kind of keeps him out of the top 10. We have now hit the top 10 NBA players of 2020. And to start us off at number 10, we have Joel Embiid. When Embiid tries, he is one of the most dominant players in all of basketball. This man is unreal. Too bad he's so fucking lazy. For me, he is clearly the best center in the NBA, and I really can't see it any other way. At number 9, we have Russell Westbrook. Trust me when I say this, but if this list was made about 6 months ago, Russ would not even be near the top 15. But ever since the Rockets switched to small ball, Westbrook has been one of the best players in the sport. He stopped making so many of the dumb mistakes he always made. He is truly in the right role now, and he is flourishing in it. At number 8, we have Luka Doncic. This kid is ridiculous. He has MVP-like numbers in his second season, and he's a huge factor in why Dallas has had such a historic offense this season. I don't think it's crazy to say that Luka could creep into the top 5 by the end of 2021. At number 7, we have Anthony Davis. AD is such a fantastic player, but man, he could not get anywhere in New Orleans. He's finally on a team that can win some games, and he actually is putting up some better numbers than his teammate that's in the MVP conversation, while also making a case for Defensive Player of the Year. And I'm going to say this. I don't think people realize how vital Anthony Davis is to the Lakers. He is the anchor to that defense, and he allows the Lakers roster to work so well for LeBron. That is why LeBron is in the MVP conversation. That roster is built more to LeBron's strengths than AD's. AD is a piece that is used to build around LeBron. When I initially made this list, I actually had AD ranked at 4. I only moved him down here to 7 because I felt like it was a little unfair to have him over certain players that have had major success in recent years that he has not had at all. It's crazy to say this, but Anthony Davis has somehow become underrated because he is so valuable to that Lakers team, but since his teammate is, the second greatest player of all time, he's not really in the spotlight as much. Coming in at number 6, we have James Harden. James Harden is one of the best offensive players of our time, but man, he really just kind of took his foot off the gas down the stretch this year. Russ was the one that just went off, not him. But Harden, nonetheless, is still a fringe top 5 player this season, even if he's had his down times. And he surely is top 5 if this list didn't include injured players. We are now in the top 5, and kicking us off at number 5 is Kevin Durant. KD is one of the best scorers of all time, but man, he just hasn't shown that he can win championships without all-time great talent around him. Along with the Achilles injury, KD is at number 5, but if he were healthy, you could definitely make an argument that he is the best in the league. We just really don't know how he'll come back. At number 4, we have Stephen Curry. Two-time MVP Stephen Curry. The second greatest point guard of all time, Steph Curry. He's just been injured, pretty plain and simple. Now that the rest of his roster is now shit, we really don't know how the Warriors will perform next season. Guess we'll have to wait and see. Coming in third place, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis has been the best player on the planet this season, and I don't think it's really a debate. He will be a 2-time MVP at the age of 25, whether you like it or not, and he is my pick for Defensive Player of the Year. That resume is just absurd, but the one thing that he is missing is postseason success, and that keeps him from claiming the top spot. He has gotten close, but if Milwaukee wins the finals this year, Giannis is undoubtedly number 1 for me. At number 2, we have LeBron James. Yes, you heard that. LeBron James. Okay, let me make my case as to why he is number 2. He has been awesome this season, for sure. I'm not taking anything away from that. But he isn't even putting up better important numbers than his teammate. I'm not saying Anthony Davis is better. I had him ranked at 7 for a reason, but LeBron definitely isn't the same LeBron from the past. His defense isn't near as good as it used to be. He isn't playing better than AD in some key areas. It's just hard to put him at number 1 for me. The Lakers didn't even make the playoffs last year, which also really supports my argument for how key Anthony Davis is to this current team. Now I know, LeBron got hurt midway through, but even when he came back, he could not make that team win. Everyone thought that Lakers roster in the 2018-2019 season with LeBron James was good enough to at least get a lower playoff seed in the West. And I thought it was too, but he couldn't even get that. So that's kind of a major contributor as to why I don't really have him at number 1. But if you couldn't already tell, at number 1, we have Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi is literally a machine. He does everything right. He's clearly the best player on what I believe to be the better LA team, and his postseason run in Toronto cemented it for me. Kawhi is just unbelievable in all regards, aside from his passing, which LeBron definitely hasn't beaten. He has great scoring, he's a winner, he has high efficiency, defensive player of the year level defense that needs to be talked about. I have no idea why no one brings him up in that debate this year. This is just how I personally feel. And if you think LeBron should be above him, I totally can see that. I just think right now, in 2020, that Kawhi Leonard is the best player in the NBA. And that concludes All Sports Culture's top 50 NBA players in 2020. What would you change? We all have our own opinions, and we would love to hear yours in the comments below. While you are there, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to us here on YouTube for more content like this. Also check out our podcast, Highlighted, where we will be going a little more in depth on this top 50 list. I skipped over a lot of these players, but more of these will be addressed in an upcoming episode. And if you haven't already, follow @AllSportsCulture on Instagram as well. Thank you all again for watching this video. I've been Sam from ASC, and I will see you in the next one.